Back on the Young Turks, Jake, Ben, and Jill with you. So Al Gore's given an interview to GQ, and I wish there was audio of it, but there isn't. So his answer that I'm going to read to you here is a little on the long side, but it's terrific and I think worth reading. They had asked him a question about the Clintons, and he had answered, yeah, I saw him, meaning Bill Clinton, today, and we see them every once in a while. And then the follow-up question is, really, how about all the warnings? Which is kind of a weird, vague question. I assume they mean the warnings during the Clinton administration about
okay, yeah, that's something else, but all right.
Right, and
I'm sorry, can you be specific about the warnings about what?
Like, did you...
September 11th, Al-Qaeda, etc.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and he's not specific here, but Gore answers it as to what they did and what
Who's
the
he
Bush
talking
administration
to?
did.
GQ.
Right. So, and I'm not going to read the editorials they put in here. Just at one point in the middle of this, they say Gore's voice actually turns, and he says voice angry now. And they've been kidding around for most of the interview, right? And then he says it by the end, practically screaming now. Okay, that's what they interject here.
That's why you like him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons. And now the content.
Emotion and personality 6 years ago.
Well, they asked him that in the interview as well, and he says,
They punched the guy.
Yeah.
I should have done the interview.
Yeah.
I thought of that first.
And Gore says, hey, listen, I get it all the time, and you guys are probably right, and I'm sure that I failed to communicate properly in the 2000 election, you know. And it's easy. Look, it's just he's like it's a pressure cooker in a campaign, and it's easy to be joking around and bringing out your real personality when not every single thing you say is being picked apart,
right?
And the other side isn't going to trying to destroy you,
right?
So those are good points too. But he says, hey, look, I clearly did something wrong in 2000, and so anyway, let's get to the content. This is how Gore answers the question about warnings. He says, that's a separate question, and it's almost too easy to say I would have heeded the warnings. Referring, I guess, to how Bush reacted. He immediately takes it in that direction, which I already like. He says, in fact, I think I would have. I know I would have. We've had several instances when the CIA's alarm bells went off, and what we did when that happened was we had emergency meetings and called everybody together and made sure that all systems were go and every agency was hitting on all cylinders. And we made them bring more information and go into second and third and fourth level of detail and made suggestions on how we could respond in a more coordinated, more effective way. It is inconceivable to me that Bush would read a warning as stark and as clear as the one he received on August 6th of 2001. And according to some of the new histories, he turned to the briefer and said, well, you've covered your ass. And never called a follow-up meeting. Never made an inquiry. Never asked a single question. To this date, I don't understand it. And I think it's fair to say that he personally does, in fact, bear a measure of blame for not doing his job at a time when we really needed him to do his job. And now the Woodward book has this episode that has been confirmed by the record that George Tenet, who was much abused by this administration, went over to the White House for the purpose of calling an emergency meeting and warning as clearly as possible about the extremely dangerous situation with Osama bin Laden, and was brushed off. And I don't know why, honestly. And I mean, I understand how horrible this Congressman Foley situation with the instant messaging is, okay? I understand that. But why didn't these kind of things produce a similar outrage? And you know, I'm even reluctant to talk about it in these terms because it's so easy for people to hear this or read this as sort of a cheap political gameplay. I understand how it could sound that way. But damn it! Whatever happened to the concept of accountability for catastrophic failure? This administration has been by far the most incompetent, inept, and with moral cowardice and obsequiousness, I can't do it.
Obsequiousness.
Thank you. To their wealthy contributors and obliviousness to the public interest of any administration in modern history, and probably in the entire history of the country. And despite all warnings, all the shrill call to arms, Bush has the nerve to then go on vacation. Incomprehensible. Now you wonder why we want Al Gore to run? That's why we want Al Gore to run. That is a kick-ass statement that no politician right now has the courage to make.
He's so shrill and unhinged.
Oh, I mean, he nailed it. That is exactly right. And with the kind of courage it takes to say it. When somebody says something that is so clearly true and that is so clearly unique because you don't hear it other places, it makes you sit back and go, whoa, wait a minute, Gore is right. Why don't other people say this?
Well, it's funny because we've rambled on about the exact same points now for 4 years, over and over and over. And, I mean, the way he's able to just bore it all down, and it just makes so much sense when you hear him say it.
He's a really smart guy. He always was a really smart guy.
You can't doubt. Look, I know a lot of conservatives and Republicans and people that aren't involved in politics and listen to our show, and some of the stuff that we talk about just goes in one ear, out the other, and it's, they're liberals, progressives, blah, 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 they're just bitching. You can't get beyond what he said there. I mean, the way he articulated the sentiment of, how is there no accountability for such a huge blunder?
You know, there are 2 points to be made about that, Joe, and we make one of them. You know, you can't say that if George Bush had done anything after getting that memo, if he'd had 4 meetings, if he'd called secondary, that we could have stopped it. I don't know that we could have stopped it. We'll never know. But it is remarkable that he didn't try. Remarkable that he didn't try. And we know you can't stop it if you don't try.
Bush has the nerve to then go on vacation. Incomprehensible. That's exactly right, Al Gore. Run, Gore, run! Young Turks on Air America Radio.